I'm trying to record a podcast.
Hey, and welcome to Your Natural Dog. My name is Carter Easler, and today Angela and I are having a conversation about a recent piece of research that was funded, which looks into the safety profile of broad-spectrum hemp extracts. This is a topic that, comes up every once in a while, that gets reanimated when people's fears about THC are getting stoked. And so, this study kind of plays into that. And so today we are asking the question, why? Why is this kind of research being done? And what's behind it? Who benefits from this? And what is the truth about the safety of broad spectrum extract? So buckle up, enjoy, and thanks for tuning in.
I had no idea anything about hemp oil products. There's so many on the market and everybody says, oh, mine's the best. I didn't understand how they work. We really got no information about it in veterinary school. So what I loved about this product line is that I was educated, I got scientific resources, and certainly my clients have been very happy with their results in their cancer. I've had some Cushing's patients that have great pain relief, a couple of coughing dogs that wake their parents up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and gosh, one little bit of extra tincture in the middle of the night. I always ask myself, is this a case where the full spectrum hemp might be appropriate for the patient? Anxiety, seizures, for sure. I've definitely had some seizure dogs that all they need is a clean diet, no more chemicals, and the full spectrum hemp. So I always ask that, and then I ask more questions about the patient, see how they responded. I definitely have seen some great responses, so I'm always looking at it. If you're looking to make things better for your pet, let's go natural. Let's look at quality food. Let's look at quality supplements, the full spectrum hemp oil. But it's all inflammation gone wrong. So what if we beat inflammation early in the game and give these animals quality for as long as possible? So get educated, ask more questions, and see what works for your pet.
You ready, Carter?
I'm ready, Angie. Let's go for it.
So yeah, we're being Carter here today because we wanted to talk about a specific piece of bullshit research that came out March of this year, and we kept meaning to get around to it and keep interviewing other guests. I'm like, Carter, we got to talk about this because we knew what back in, I want to say 2019, when all the bullshit with the NASC started, and we were starting to see full spectrum brands suddenly start calling themselves broad spectrum, or no, what were they saying? Full spectrum with no THC, which we're like, why are you doing that? And I think it was you, weren't you? Literally, I know several of us were picking up the phone and calling these other companies and saying, why are you saying that? And they said, the NASC told us to put that on our label. The NASC told us to say that. And we were like, what? That's so confusing. What's going on? And now, and for those of you who don't know what the NASC is, the NASC stands for the National Animal Supplement Council. And in case you don't know this, the FDA doesn't regulate supplements for humans or for animals. The FDA barely has time to regulate animal drugs at all. The veterinary division just doesn't even have around. Every year there's over 2,000 drugs that are legal to market but haven't been approved by the FDA, which makes you go, So the National Animal Supplement Council sounds like a really good idea. They were trying to fulfill this need in the marketplace to kind of help consumers pick a good animal supplement. The problem is that the person who started this brilliant idea and association, all they do is make sure that the products, the ingredients are, I'm using quotation marks, safe, and that the product is safe and that it's manufactured safely. What they don't assure is that the product is effective or even has any real medicine or anything in it. So my point is that someone could sell a product that is hemp seed oil, and it didn't matter what the marketing claims on it were or whether it was real hemp seed oil, just as long as it was safe. So it's a designation that people who come into the animal industry who knew nothing about the animal industry and want to make a product, this is where they go get a seal so it looks like, yeah, we're official. We're here for the animals. Problem is, in 2018, when the Farm Bill passed and CBD, full spectrum products, CBD, everything became hemp became legal in the United States under the Farm Bill, NASC was completely against any of it. CBD, warning vets. I had my first confrontation with the founder owner at Super Zoo or Global in 2019 or 18. I don't even remember, because people were saying there's this man saying that THC is toxic to dogs and stay away, and remember all that. And now all of a sudden he changed his mind and he's got some new friends in the industry, in the CBD industry, and he's joined forces. He literally worked with Elvet and other brands, and we could tell something was going on in the marketplace, because we started to see more brands go from being full spectrum to broad spectrum, or some big players, veterinarians who are very pro cannabis, all of a sudden start recommending isolates and broad spectrum with isolates. And all of this made me scratch my head until this bullshit piece of research came out, and then it all made sense to me. So the NASC has never done a research study that I could find before on anything, but for some reason they are funding one now on CBD. And what the research is that they wanted to prove that isolates and broad spectrum and full spectrum are all well tolerated by dogs.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's just a little bit kind of redundant, and like you said, it just leaves me scratching my head. I mean, it is a shame that all these companies and all these professionals are getting kind of whipped up in it, because the NASC has no regulatory authority. Like you said, this is a pay-to-play club that you get to be a part of, and you get a little seal if you follow all their rules and keep them happy. But they don't actually regulate and set any laws. They may make recommendations, but they also are not integrated into the hemp industry, and it's clear that they're not, because we the hemp industry have moved on from these things. There is such a large body of research that has been done into the safety of cannabinoids, both on an individual basis as well as in a full spectrum whole plant medicine, that, like, I remember you and I, Angie, we would talk about, one day when we have the money to fund research, like, what are we going to research? And now we are in that place, and we're running a study on cognitive decline using medicinal mushrooms. But we said, well, these people would come to us and be like, we'll do a safety study with you. And we were like, we don't need to do that. We know how to produce this medicine safely, and there is a way to produce it not safely. And that is by trying to make it into a pharmaceutical, and to refine it and to isolate it and make it into these single molecules, when the beauty of cannabis medicine is the polypharmacological nature of it, the many different molecules interacting with one another synergistically, balancing each other's effects, boosting certain effects, down-regulating other deleterious effects. That is what is so incredible about cannabis medicine. And it's just clear that this organization is not part of that world. In this study, there's this one part where they talk about hemp in broad spectrum and full spectrum terms, and they said NASC provides guidance, I'm quoting from this study, to their members that a broad spectrum hemp extract contains some or all of the compounds found naturally occurring in the plant, where THC has been processed to levels of 0.3%. Some or all. If it was all, it would have THC in it. So a broad spectrum, by definition, does not have all of the parts of the cannabis plant. You cannot grow hemp without THC. So like,
Nope.
in the
you could
text,
genetically
there are
modify
mistakes.
it. Yeah, of course. I think absolutely you
Sure.
could genetically modify a plant until the point that it is producing no THC. And I'm sure that's happening somewhere, but I don't want that plant either. We don't want genetically modified plants. It's insane.
Right.
And what this person is organization is trying to do, and its leader and its little group of people, is to change the definition of things. And it's insanity.
Yeah.
A full spectrum hemp extract is an extract out of the flower, and it has all of the compounds, and it is synergistic, like Carter just explained. When you put it through more of a process to remove one of the most important compound, the two most important compounds are CBD and THC. When you go to remove that most important compound, you now have an over processed product, just like ultra processed fruit. You've now stripped it of a lot of its ability to do all of its wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
And
we talk a
not
lot
the same
about the entourage effect. The entourage effect is something that is, it is a phrase that is used ubiquitously across the cannabis industry. This relationship between all these specific elements, but even beyond the relationship between terpenes, cannabinoids, flavonoids, all these different bioactive molecules, THC specifically is a hugely important molecule in it. Angela, you're the one who taught me about, the way that THC and CBD interact. That's a huge part of its effect, right?
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm on tour right now with the BK Pets, and I've gotten to do the first half of it with Roxanne Stone from Solutions, where she literally talks about pasteurized milk. And that pasteurized milk, when you pasteurize it, literally takes away an enzyme that allows you to absorb calcium.
Right.
So the reason so remember that, and now remember what I'm about to tell you right now, which is when you take a full spectrum hemp extract, the THC has to bind to the CB2 receptor first before CBD can even bind to it. So now me and Roxanne have a joke that calcium and broad spectrum, CBD are dancing around in your body going, hey, do you know why we're here? I don't know. What's your name? What are you supposed to do? I don't know. I guess we'll just go out through the kidneys now because you literally have taken away the part that helps the body use and absorb this amazing compound. So stop messing with nature. Anytime you see anybody, any company messing with nature, they're trying to make a pharmaceutical drug because, as I said a million times in a row, you can't patent nature and make $1 billion off of it. So what you do is you take parts of it out, you isolate parts out of it, and you try to make a prescription drug. We know this to be true. We learned this from one of the doctors back in 2019 who literally taught us this lesson and said that this is what's going on, that it's going to be isolates. It's going to be, I just heard Dr. Rob Silver say that he would, if THC is toxic and dangerous, however, I am happy to help you dose your dog with a THC isolate, or dose your dog with THC, which means he's using an isolate of THC. Don't ever use an isolate of THC. Use THC in a full spectrum product or in a marijuana product instead of a hemp product if you want more THC. Please, please stay away from these isolates, guys. What I wanted to bring up mostly in this piece of research is certain things that I think are very important for people to realize. That it was only tested for 90 days. They only tested dogs using isolates, broad spectrum, and full spectrum for 90 days. All the dogs were healthy dogs, so the dogs didn't have any issues. And the problem with this is that we already have pieces of research that show of a year of using a CBD isolate that it leads to. Hold on, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'll read it. Do you remember what it said? Leads to, they actually had to take people off of the CBD isolate because the patients were experiencing liver dysfunction, and they took them off the isolate before liver injury was caused. So this was after 1 year, and this was a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial. And they literally have a diagram showing, the rise of ALT, ALP, AST, but they are saying that it does. It leads to liver injury or damage. So this piece of research is only for 90 days on healthy dogs. My other problem is the fact that when we use a full spectrum hemp extract, most of the time we're using it on old dogs or dogs with cancer or autoimmune diseases or issues, and they're taking it to help them. So to me, it angers me that someone whose dog needs it thinks they're going to go out and buy an isolate or a broad spectrum and it's going to help their dog, and it's not. It's going to make things worse. We don't have any research, and I look all the time, showing that an isolate is better or more effective than a broad spectrum or a full spectrum product. It doesn't exist. It's not out there. All the research, everything that you hear about the wonderful benefits of cannabis and the anti-cancer, anti-tuber, stop the seizures, rebuild the gut, calm you down, everything is only with a full spectrum hemp or a full spectrum product, meaning a full spectrum extraction of the hemp flower or of the marijuana flower, which has more THC.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're evolving. It's wild how many parallels there are in human medicine and animal nutrition and animal hemp medicine. The way that this idea that purifying something and getting the purest form of it is going to be the safest. That was kind of an ideology that we really subscribed to for a long time in our health and is clearly falling apart now. But I think that some people are still of this mind that just because something is pure, it's going to be better for you. There's this other study that was done, and the title of it is Potential Clinical Benefits of CBD-Rich Cannabis Extracts over Purified CBD in Treatment-Resistant Epilepsy. And it says, quote, the report of mild and severe adverse events were more frequent in products containing purified CBD than in CBD-rich extracts. Plain and simple. They're not mincing words in this study. It's
only
it's right
one
there.
reason. Only one reason to produce an isolate, and that's because it's cheap.
Yeah. So
we think that everything's supposed to be that purified white powder or that white pill or that white bread or that white means pure. No, white means it's been made into a synthetic chemical.
Right. So that is referring to the safety of it and adverse events. This same study also says the data suggests that CBD is 4 times more potent when administered in herbal form, probably because of the minor cannabinoids present in the extract, than CBD in an isolated form. So not only is it having fewer adverse events, it is also more potent, which also explains why they're having to give such high levels of these CBD isolates. They're giving hundreds and hundreds of milligrams of isolates and higher doses of these broad spectrum extracts because they don't have the same, they're not as potent in their effects because of the lack of that entourage effect, the lack of that synergistic relationship.
Yeah, we just talked about this with Jason.
It all lines up. Right.
We just talked about this with Jason, right? Where he was saying the same things. We're not paying attention to the right things. We're not looking at all of the medicinal compounds together in how they work. And it goes with food. It goes with mushroom medicine. It goes with everything. Don't mess with nature. But you have to ask yourself, why did an organization like this put on a piece of research like this? Why? What is their financial gain? What is their reasoning? What are they trying to prove?
You know what? I can't speculate about what their reasons are. I mean, I think that they want to be seen as an authority. They want their stamp on this industry because it hasn't, much to their chagrin, it hasn't just gone away, as I think a lot of people kind of wanted to based on the disruption that this has caused. But it isn't moving the needle forward.
No, it's not. and especially not for our pets and for our animals. To me, the reason that it was done, it's a membership organization. He just increased his membership tremendously, and he made a lot of his friends happy who now can make pharmaceutical drugs out of isolates. Veterinarians, these are veterinarians that are doing this, and sell them and prescribe them. And they have never practiced. That's not true. The one I'm talking about has never practiced a day of cannabis or mushroom medicine. Dr. Richter has practiced cannabis medicine, but they want to have pharmaceutical drugs. They want to create them. They want to control them. They want it to be that you go to a veterinarian for you to know how to use these isolates or this cannabis medicine. And you don't need that. It's a plant. And if it's grown and extracted right, you have nothing to fear, and you can use it over the counter. I think that I would love to see a future. And I remember talking to Dr. Richter about this. I remember thinking I would love to see a future where when it does come to increasing the amount of THC, meaning not by an isolate, but by moving to a marijuana product and prescribing that and prescribing more THC like I did with Nina. I gave Nina 10 milligrams of THC every day. I think it would be nothing more fantastic than veterinarians understanding how the endocannabinoid system works and all of the molecules, and being able to advise on that and say, start with this is what's going to happen, go slow. I would love that. But to try to control the market and make pharmaceutical drugs out of isolates is not okay. And that's why I felt important that we talked about this, so that people understand what that NASC symbol means, what this research means, and how people are going to see a flood of isolate and broad spectrum products being put out by veterinarians, even holistic ones.
It feels as though, it's really just kind of capitalizing on people's fear. We know that, there is a narrative about THC being unsafe for dogs. And so, there's an audience for this piece. There are people who are going to take this and they're going to be really fired up about it. Their confirmation bias is going to be scratched and the ego is going to feel good. I knew it. I knew that this was true. But, I can't tell you how many people I have seen, how many professionals I have spoken to who really understand the therapeutic potential of THC. And part of understanding the therapeutic potential of THC and a full spectrum extract, a cannabis product, is recognizing that this is a powerful medicine and that every powerful medicine should be treated with respect. It's not just that every dosage of THC is great for animals at all times and that you should, we're trying to get everybody's dog high, and like that it's just this kind of like fast and loose kind of approach to it. But, we have to recognize that this is a really powerful therapeutic agent.
I'm very excited because there is lots of rumors, and I've been excited before, that we may be descheduling cannabis from 1 to 3, which tell people what that means when the DEA does this, what that means.
Well, it's huge because, the scheduling classification of marijuana, of cannabis, has been Schedule 1, which puts it in the wheelhouse, in the home of like heroin and ecstasy and cocaine, and by definition classifies it as having zero medicinal benefit, which we know by years of medical precedent and clinical research that that's just plainly false.
And use, right?
Yeah. So scheduling.
So they're going to do it to a 3.
Schedule 3, yes.
Which means what is that? Over the counter?
Not exactly, but it does just clear the way for a lot more research to be done on it and for more publication to happen about it. It takes a lot of the barriers out of the way of industry and as well as medicine to study it and promote it and sell it, which is a great thing for everybody.
The biggest thing it does is that it releases the fear of doctors and veterinarians thinking that they're going to lose their license about talking about it or prescribing it or recommending it, because it will no longer be a Schedule 1, and therefore they will no longer be threatened of losing their DEA license to be able to prescribe, these drugs. So it is very good. Do you think that this is like, do you think that these doctors in NASC probably know this was coming down the line and that this is all kind of what they're been prepping for? Because I'm telling you, seeing a product that has been in existence since we have, that never has made a direct to retail product and advertised it online, and now I'm seeing all of these brands come out that have basically, they've been working on waiting for these types of things to all fall into place, and now magically these veterinarians are like, yep, I've got this isolate, and yep, I got this, and I got this new formula with all these isolates in it, and people don't know, and it's coming from a veterinarian. And they waited. They've been waiting for this opportunity to release it. So I think we're going to see products come out, new products all over the place that will be a whole bunch of isolates put together, because the COA is going to look great, right? It's literally putting your own little COA together and making it look however way you want. So it's literally going to change everything. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like. It'll make our life a lot easier. We'll get to have safe banking. We'll get to have credit card processors, normal credit card processors like everyone else. Like no one has any idea. Advertising, everything that we've had to do that cost us so much more time and money to get our education out, and now that will all go away, and it's going to be crazy. I can't imagine what it's going to look like. I knew it was coming. I could tell when the folks with all the money and power were suddenly doing stuff. Remember, we saw Mars buy their first CBD company like a year or two ago. We knew CVS was buying up hemp farms. We knew they were all prepping for this day of when the big corps could finally come in and take over and make some money off of this. So it's going to be scary. It's going to be crazy. I can't even imagine. I can't believe it's actually happening. So that's a big difference. And the only reason that happened is because people who didn't know how to become rich off of it have now figured out how to.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I think that, people are going to continue to try and make a quick buck everywhere they can, and find the niche where people are vulnerable and want to purchase. That's just the nature of commerce and capitalism. But what is incredible about natural medicine is that you can't patent nature, and you cannot reproduce this natural synergistic relationship between these natural medicines. It's like, to me, it kind of feels like the Atkins diets and these like fast, like the no fat diets
Quick
of the
fixes.
early 2000s, where it's like, here, eliminate all this and then everything's going to be great. You just want this special part of the plant. When really, if we look at this in a holistic way and look at our history of using this plant, which goes way beyond that, it's just so clear that the way that this functions best is in its natural state. And that's not something that you can create just in a lab, at least not yet. AI is going to be a crazy advancement, and who knows what that's going to do for cannabis medicine. But for now, it's really simple.
Yeah. Keep it simple. Don't mess with Mother Nature. And I do want to make sure people know that I'm not, bad mouthing veterinarians or all veterinarians. And there are some that have been in this industry from the very beginning, making incredible medicine from the very start. I know Vet CBD. I don't think that's his name anymore. I don't even know what he's changed his name to, but there are a few out there that have been, allies and have been working hard, and California, of course, where it was mostly completely legal. So I'm not bashing all the veterinarians. I'm just saying, make sure that if you do see a medicine or a pharmaceutical or an over-the-counter product that is made by a veterinarian, just make sure it's a pure product. Make sure it's a full spectrum product and test it and ask all the questions you would for anything else that you would put into your body or into your pet's body. All right.
All right.
Thanks for talking to me about this. I'm glad we have it now so that, people who saw it come out have maybe another side of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wish, I remember finding out about NASC and thinking what a great idea and how incredible and exciting that there was this organization, but it's not the organization I thought. We follow the hemp industry and what they do. And that's why we have a QR code on our label that takes you to our COAs for every single batch. And we do that for all of our products, every single batch. And you can click it with your phone and go directly to that COA. We have nothing to hide. It's all there. We believe in Mother Nature and just extracting that pure, beautiful medicine and put it in a natural preservative and giving it to your pet. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you have any questions or want to know more, we'll link everything, the piece of research, all the research that we mentioned. This is all me and Carter do, so let us know if there's anything you want to know. We'll look it up for you.
Hemp,
We'll show you where it is. You can find most of it on our website, on cbddoghealth.com. I know I have a whole page, angelaardolino.com/research, where I put all my cannabis and mushroom research that I come across. My little nifty plant and medicine guide, I put it in there too. So we're really all about it. And thank you very much for listening.